In an international conference that has brought 70 researchers in AI and machine learning from 22 African universities and in 18 countries, the academicians want to bring a paradigm shift. Artificial intelligence is about artificial systems that mimic natural intelligence in some sense, while machine learning is a technique used for building artificial intelligence-based systems. And researchers now encourage that there has to be a shift from publication of research work to innovation to bring impact in the continent.
Emphasis has been put on publication rather than, innovations. And then there's this paradigm that publish or perish all, and that has been with the academia all these years. And then your career progression is based on the number of publications that you produce. And sadly, we have realized that the publications that are coming out or that are coming out from African universities are not being converted into innovations to benefit our people.
According to the organizers, the current African researchers in artificial intelligence are not enough, and there is a need to bridge that gap with at least 500 researchers.
We have a big gap with respect to highly trained scholars in the area of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And then because of the huge demand in this sector, it is projected that in the next 5 years, really, Africa requires at least 500 new generation of PhD scholars to help drive the sector.
That are being developed and brought on the African context. And so that's why it's important that us as Africans can also be involved in building our own artificial intelligence and machine learning systems and technologies, but most importantly also using the technologies on the data that's collected on our continent.
Young researchers led by Professor Divine Far from University of Cape Town in South Africa and Professor Joyce Nakatumba Nabende of Makerere University in Uganda has echoed the same sentiment, saying it's time to develop solutions that are in sync with the needs of the continent.
So now there's a paradigm shift gradually from publish or perish to patent and prosper. People call it, develop and prosper. But even that one, that's what I've mentioned earlier on, that those who even took the effort to innovate and then develop and patent, their innovations are not being consumed at a rate that will motivate others to also go into that arena.
For a decade, Africa has been relying on products from the West, yet the continent is rich in wealth in terms of raw materials.
The central issues that we are really trying to do, especially with the issue of responsible AI, is to raise the question of ethics. And the question of ethics, which relates to values and also moral principles, is something that is related to what we are and who we are as Africans. So one of the first things that we want to do is to push inventors to really think about what makes them African, and also to see technology as part of an ecosystem. So one cannot change technology without thinking about how it affects political systems, how it affects the social systems, how it affects the economic systems, how it affects the education. So technology alone is not enough to solve our problems unless we locate it, within this ecosystem of humanity.
We are now in the fourth industrial revolution, where artificial intelligence is one of the very main technologies that are coming up. And as Africa, we need to also embrace the fourth industrial revolution to be able to solve the problems that are currently going on here. And we've seen that there's a lot of data that is being collected and being used. However, the problem that we have is that many of the technologies that are developed outside of Africa and then they are brought to be used here on our continent face a very big challenge that they will not solve the problems that we have because they've probably not been trained on the data that's collected on our context.
The researchers are congregating in Mombasa for a week-long forum to chart the way forward and urging African governments to move with speed to embrace digital transformation to spur economic growth on the continent. For Ebro TV, Amode Francis.